Hello there. It looks like an energetic UK Mustang is snorting and raring to go in the Brexit starting gate. Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost, and I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily. And a big thanks to my Patreon and PayPal supporters. And another big Brexit news day today, as the UK Secretary for International Trade Liz Truss announces a big post-Brexit trade deal with Japan. And that news, coming on the heels of the publication of the UK Internal Market Bill on Wednesday, has caused Remainers across the land to get a major sad on. Much weeping, wailing and melting down all around. The Department for International Trade said in a statement, "The UK has secured a free trade agreement with Japan, which is the UK's first major trade deal as an independent trading nation, and will increase trade with Japan by an estimated £15.2 billion. And then it went on to say, "The deal is tailored to the UK economy and secures additional benefits beyond the EU-Japan trade deal, giving UK companies exporting to Japan a competitive advantage in a number of areas. It will help to create jobs and drive economic growth throughout the whole of the UK." Ouch, that'll hurt the Remainers. The UK getting a better deal with Japan than the EU, and in a fraction of the time. With Liz Truss saying, "This is a historic moment for the UK and Japan as our first major post-Brexit trade deal. The agreement we have negotiated in record time and in challenging circumstances goes far beyond the existing EU deal, as it secures new wins for British businesses in our great manufacturing, food and drink and tech industries." The chair of the Federation of Small Businesses, Mike Cherry, said, "As we look to the UK's global trading future, trade deals we sign should be about businesses of all sizes, which is why we are delighted to see a UK-Japan trade deal today that includes a comprehensive chapter for SMEs. The UK-Japan trade deal therefore marks a major moment. It provides access to a major global market for the UK small business exporters, with 1 in 10 viewing Japan as a crucial market to tap into." And the Director General of the Confederation of British Industry, Caroline Fairbairn, said, "The signing of the UK-Japan trade deal is a breakthrough moment. It will be welcomed by businesses across the country. The government and business now need to work together to make the most from the deal. It's a huge opportunity to secure new Japanese investment across a wide range of sectors and UK regions." And it was also very welcome news to many others, including the heads of Tech UK, Walker's Shortbread and the Food and Drink Federation. And the big point here is that Japan signed the deal today in full cognizance of the contents of Clause 38 of the Withdrawal Agreement Act and the UK Internal Market Bill that all those pro-EU types out there said would prevent such deals happening. Now, before I go on, I've seen many comments on social media referring to Clause 38, and there seems to be a bit of misunderstanding about it. Because many people are under the misapprehension that this Clause 38 is in the Withdrawal Agreement Treaty we signed up to with the EU. And just to be clear, it is not in the Withdrawal Agreement Treaty itself. And some people think that international law automatically takes precedence over UK law. So after reading up a bit more about this, I thought I'd put out my layman's interpretation of the situation. So here's the UK. And now we introduce the Withdrawal Agreement Treaty, signed up to and ratified at an international level by Brussels and the UK. So that's it. We all now need to obey the treaty because Boris Johnson and Ursula von der Leyen signed it. Well, actually, we don't. The treaty has no direct effect on the UK. And here's the reasoning behind why a treaty should not have immediate and direct effect. Just suppose a UK Prime Minister woke up one day and had gone totally gaga overnight. Well, some people think that's already happened, but just assume the PM's sane today and insane tomorrow. And then, hypothetically, he gets on a plane to the land of the Eskimo, and once there he signs a treaty with their head of government that says everyone in both countries will henceforth live in igloos. Something that changes nothing for one side, but everything for the other. Then he returns triumphantly, waving the new treaty above his head, demanding we all now live in igloos, with no prior input from voters or Parliament. And that is the reason that treaties are not automatically binding on the UK. So, no, on its own, the Withdrawal Agreement Treaty is not part of the law of the land. What it needs is a separate piece of UK primary legislation in the form of an Act of Parliament that enables the treaty to take effect in the UK. In the current case, that would be the 2020 Withdrawal Agreement Act. And that's because in the UK, the Crown in Parliament is sovereign. The rule of law resides in the UK with Parliament, and the Supreme Court cannot overrule it. Did you realise, for example, that every piece of EU legislation that ruled everything we did needed a route through to govern us via a statute? Statutes we wrote that conveyed EU law into UK law, gold-plated them, and then we obeyed them to the letter. Which may be why so many people thought we drew up our own laws and that the EU was just a bit-part player. Anyway, in the case of the Withdrawal Agreement Treaty, the UK Parliament passed the Withdrawal Agreement Act 2020, and this is where the problem for the EU Clause 38 resides. And under UK law, an Act of Parliament that enables a treaty can do precisely what Clause 38 will do: limit the legal effect in the UK of that treaty. And that is legal, and as far as I can tell, not able to be challenged by any means in the UK. It's now down to what the EU can do at an international level. But even then it seems that the UK is standing on very firm ground here, as what Clause 38 of the Withdrawal Agreement Act and the clauses that deal with the Irish Border Protocol in the Internal Market Bill are actually doing is remedying a defect in the withdrawal agreement itself that breaches international law. The Northern Ireland Protocol, which everyone knows is being used as a way of splitting Northern Ireland from the rest of the UK, has always been touted by the EU and the Republic of Ireland as the only means of protecting the Good Friday Agreement, and hence the only way of protecting the peace on the island of Ireland. But the Withdrawal Agreement Treaty puts a border down the Irish Sea between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. A border where the EU could, at the drop of a hat, interfere with UK internal market trade. And such a border would change the constitutional position of Northern Ireland and its people with regard to the rest of the UK. And crucially, it would not have been done with their consent, which is something that is entirely at odds with the Good Friday Agreement itself. In fact, on the 20th of January, although it had no effect, the Northern Ireland Assembly voted comprehensively against the Withdrawal Agreement Treaty. And if I remember correctly, all the Northern Irish MPs voted against it too. So any protocol that changes the constitutional position of the people of Northern Ireland within the UK would be in contravention of the Good Friday Agreement, an agreement signed up to by the UK and the Republic of Ireland with no mention of the European Union. So as I said, the UK is remedying a blatant defect in the Withdrawal Agreement Treaty that could cause the EU to breach international law. So the Northern Ireland Secretary Brandon Lewis, who told us on Tuesday that the Internal Market Bill breaches international law, might be forced back to the dispatch box to beg MPs pardon and tell them he misled them, because it doesn't. And that's without the claims that the EU is acting in bad faith and that Michel Barnier hinted quite publicly that EU fishermen would now still somehow be taking our fish after the 31st of December. Anyway, this constitutional position has already been affirmed by a famous court decision. That of the case involving Gina Miller, who decided to employ the courts to force the government to use an Act of Parliament to trigger Article 50. And she was hoping MPs would refuse to vote for it, but they did. The UK government legal note on this says, Parliament is sovereign as a matter of domestic law and can pass legislation which is in breach of the UK's treaty obligations. Parliament would not be acting unconstitutionally in enacting such legislation. This dualist approach is shared by other similar legal systems such as Canada, Australia and New Zealand. Under this approach, treaty obligations only become binding to the extent that they are enshrined in domestic legislation. Whether to enact or repeal legislation and the content of that legislation is for Parliament and Parliament alone. This principle was recently approved unanimously by the Supreme Court in R. Miller v. Secretary of State for exiting the European Union. They do say that revenge is a dish best served cold, don't they? And are they also adding in a warning that we could repeal the whole Withdrawal Agreement Act and ditch the lot? Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it by following the link in the descriptions box below and support me on Patreon or PayPal. So what do you think about all of this? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching.